Hi everyone. Hello, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. So today we are going to make a block called Sawtooth Patchwork. Sawtooth Patchwork. And it needs 5 pieces, 3 colors. We need a dark, which I'm using red, a light, I'm using green, a medium is green, and my light is white. So a light, a medium, and a dark. So I'm going to start by moving this out of the way, and we're going to start with A. And I'm going to put these down so that you guys can read them. Put my pin next to it, there we go. We're going to start with a light color A. I need 2 squares that are 3 7/8. So we're just going to grab some fabric. We're going to cut 2 squares that are 3 7/8. And again, I'm just using my scraps, but you guys know that. 7/8 is the notch right before 4. So for now, I'm just going to kind of roughly cut this out because it's not straight. I'm just going to roughly cut a couple pieces real quick. 3 7/8, and I need 2 of them. So that one's 3 7/8 now on the sides. 3 7/8. Oops, I only needed 2. So we'll throw that over there. Stack these up like so, because the sides are now 3 7/8. Just going to cut off this one edge and line up my 3 7/8 like so, and it's 3 7/8 on the top and bottom now. We're going to cut that off, and now these get cut on the diagonal one time. So I'm going to put it on the diagonal like so. Again, there's 2 squares, 3 7/8. This is color A. It is a light. And they're cut on the diagonal once. So I'm just going to take those, my little paper. We're going to move it out of the way. Now for cut B, which is a medium. So that medium I chose to be my light green. We need 2 3 7/8 inch squares as well. So I'm just going to come over to this side of here, and I am going to cut 3 7/8, or at least close to it right now. I'm going to cut up just a little, like so. And I'm going to cut this off right there. Hopefully I'll get 2 3 7/8 inch pieces from this. So I'm going to start by, we'll line it up first like this. I'm going to cut this end off, making it nice and flush. I'm going to come over 3 7/8, the notch right before the 4. Like that. And I'm going to turn it and make sure that it's 3 7/8. And it is right there. Just literally barely cut off sliver. Now we're going to cut another one. 3 7/8. We need 2 of these. Turn my block. Actually, both those sides are not straight. We're going to make sure this side is nice and straight. 3 7/8. It's lined up, lined up. And literally cutting nothing off. So now I'm going to stack the 2 like so. Remember, this is my medium color. There's 3 colors for this block. 3 7/8, and they get cut on the diagonal 1 time. Just like so. So my medium color is 2 3 7/8 inch squares cut on the diagonal 1 time. We're going to put that little piece with it. Now we're going to go to color C, which is back to my light. Oops, gotta pull it up a little bit higher. There we go. Back to my light color. So color C is light. So we're going to go the white, and we need 10 2 3/8 inch squares. We need 10 of them. We might be able to get 10 out of this. So let's fold this in half. We need 2 3/8. So we're going to fold this. I'm going to trim off this edge right here. I'm going to just switch to a longer ruler just to be on the safe side. And I'm trimming it because there's stitching right there. It was left over scrap pieces. This whole project that I'm doing is made out of 5 fat quarters. So just remember, you can make things out of anything. Okay, so we need 10 2 3/8 inch squares. So 3/8 is 1, then half, or then a quarter, and then 3. So it's the notch right before half. So 2 3/8, which is the notch right before half. We're going to line that up on here. 2 3/8, line it up all the way down. Slice that off. We're going to turn this. I'm going to line it up. And there's stitching on one end but not the other, so I'm just going to slide it down just a little. I'm going to line this up on the line. I might not get 10 from this. We'll see right now. I doubt it. Thought so at first. Alright, 2 3/8, the notch right before half. We need 10 of them. So here's 2. There's 4. And this would make 6. Alright, so we need to cut 4 more. Straighten up an edge here. Come over 2 3/8. And I doubt this is 2 3/8 left. Nope. Grab another one. Cut this nice and straight. Line it up on 2 3/8, the notch right before half. And then we're going to stack these two, and we'll get 2 more from this, I'm pretty sure. So we'll straighten that up right there. Put it on 2 3/8, like that. So now I need to cut 2 more. Let's find one more piece so we can get 2 more pieces from. I'm using scraps for my project, so you guys can use scraps too if you want. Alright, now I'm just going to line these 2 up, straighten one of the edges. I have plenty of room to do so. 2 3/8. We needed 10 of them. And now we're going to take all 10 and cut them on the diagonal once. So I'm just going to grab each stack and just start cutting them on the diagonal one time. So there's 1, lining it up on the diagonal, 2, try not to shift or adjust them, 3, 4, and one more time makes 5, and that makes 10 cuts because I had everything double stacked. So C is a light, which is considered my background, 2 3/8, 10 squares cut on the diagonal once, which equals 20 half square triangles. Now we're on color D. Put that right there. D is my dark color, which is my red. We need 4 2 5/8. So we're going to turn this way. We need 2 5/8. So actually we'll get them all from this end right over here. 2 5/8. 5/8 is, so you would go 1, then the 1/4 inch is 2, in between 1/4 and half would be 3, half would be 4, and the notch right after 1/2 inch is 5/8. So I'm just going to kind of just cut this a little big, only because there is a crookedness to the bottom of this. So we're cutting it just a little on the big side. 2 5/8. So I have a nice straight line on this side now. Oh, I can't see my 8s on that one. So 2 5/8. 2 5/8, the notch right after the half. I'm going to have to cut this twice. I'm just going to go right here, fold it in half, use this side now, line it up, 2 5/8, like so, and now we're going to cut 4 squares after I straighten up this little end right here. I cut 4, 2 5/8. So here's 2, and here is 4 pieces now, right there. Don't need any of that. Toss it. And these just stay. We keep these as 4 2 5/8 inch squares. So we're going to take D, put it with its pile, and now we're going to grab E. We're going back to the medium color, which is the green, right here, and we need 1 2 5/8 inch square, and I could take that from anywhere on here. So I'm just going to take it from here on this side, 2 5/8. We just need 1 2 5/8 inch square. So I'm just going to come right here, cut it off, and then I'm going to turn it around and straighten it like so. 2 5/8. We're going to make sure 100% that this is 2 5/8. It's literally just a sliver that came off of there. So this is color E, 1 2 5/8. Again, we're making sawtooth patchwork. That's the name of this block. Okay, so I have all my pieces. My light A is 2 3 7/8 inch squares cut on the diagonal once. B is my medium, which is my green, is 3 7/8, 2 of them cut on the diagonal once. C is my light. They are 10 2 3/8 inch squares cut on the diagonal once. D is my dark. I needed 4 2 5/8 inch squares, no cutting, and E is 1 2 5 inch square of a medium and not cut as well. So now let's lay it out. Okay, we're going to start with A, facing outward, like so. I'm going to move these rulers out of the way, make it a little bit easier. And we're going to take a and put it on this outside, and then we're going to put an A down here and down here, like so. And remember, you guys are looking at me from the side as I build this, but I'll come around forward once it's together so that you can pause the screen and see. So A, and then B is facing inward like so. Now we take a D, which is my dark color. We're going to stick it here, there, here, and there on the and just like that. And now all these little pieces right here, we are going to put all the way around our D, like so. So there's 4 per each D block. So we're just going to build around them like this, and we're going to put them on point, pretty much. So this is how we build it. We want to keep the block in front of us as well the whole entire time while we're sewing. So let's put all the D and C pieces together like so. Like this, that, and like that. And we're still missing the middle, which is our E piece that we cut 1 of. And we're going to take the last 4 of the C pieces and we're going to build around that. So this is called sawtooth patchwork. We're creating a 9 patch essentially. So let's get to sewing it.
So now that we essentially know we are building around each of these red squares, which is piece C, or D, since we're building around each part of D with all the C pieces, I just brought them all up here with me, and we are going to chain piece these together by adding one side, and then we'll just chain piece one side of all of these pieces, and then we will go ahead and then chain piece the opposite side, and so on and so forth. So to do this, we're going to, now you can fold your piece in half like this. If you want, fold it in half, create a little crease to know where your center is, like that, and then take this little piece and fold it in half to know where your center is by making a little crease, like that, and then lining those creases up on top of each other, like so. So you can do that if you want, but I am just going to eyeball and run through every single one of these. And I'm just going to run them all through, chain piecing every single piece with one side on to start with. So I'm just going to grab one, eyeball it on here, nice and center. Should be good right there. Run it through. 1/4 inch seam, making sure you're using a 1/4 inch seam. So that's my center. Looks good, looks good. Might need to go that way just a little. Just run it through. And one more. Let's add a side to this. And again, I'm not really caring about the direction of my directional fabric. To me, it doesn't make no difference. So now that there's one on every side, we're going to snip them apart, and we are going to now take the other side, turning the block around and adding a C piece to all of these on the other side now. We don't even need to open it yet. We'll do that in a second. So I'm just going to now chain piece the other side on of all of these pieces. So just going to eyeball that center like so. Grab another one, eyeball it through, just like this. And last one, eyeball it through. You don't have to. 1/4 inch seam. Unless stated otherwise, everything is a 1/4 inch seam. All right, so now we are going to press all these. Due to the fact that I am not feeling good, everything is being done right next to me. So I'm going to just set that real quick, and I'm going to open them up like so. And it's kind of awkward, the angle that I'm in. And I'm going to just push these. That's not going to work because of the position that I'm in. I need a little dinky iron is what I need. Alright, so there's one. Let's do this again. Try to do it very carefully. Set the iron on it. I'm going to fold this guy back first. Turn it around. Fold this guy back. So we have a piece that looks like this. Just pressing it open. Grab the other side. Folding it towards the white. Everything's nice and pressed open. And one more. This is why you guys aren't seeing me in my face today. I'm in a lot of pain, so it's hard to hide it. Hard to hide it. Okay. So there is all our funky pieces. Now let's go back to some sewing. Before we stitch, we're going to go ahead and take a pair of snips, and I'm going to snip off all of these pieces that stick out like so. Or as my mom would say, we are going to circumcise all of our pieces. Because I know you guys heard that the other day in the video. We are going to circumcise all of our pieces. So 2 more left to do. Just going to slide all that out of the way. Other people say trimming the dog ears, bunny ears, housekeeping, so on and so forth. I now have circumcising all of it. It's actually just a joke. I probably won't say that, guys. Okay, so now that they are all off, we're going to work on adding now the other side. So still more C pieces, which are these, are now going to be chain pieced on to this side. So again, I'm just going to eyeball it. You could also fold it in half, find your center, create a crease, like so. Also, fold this in half, find your center, create a crease, and I don't think my view, there we go, sorry about that, and then put it on the center, and hope that everything, but that takes too much time, so eyeballing it is, for me, probably the easiest. So now let's chain piece all these through. So again, I'm just eyeballing. You don't have to. That's just me and getting it done a little bit quickly. So I'm just going to run all these through, adding pieces C to pieces D, all the way around. Come this way just a little, there we go. So after we have chain pieced all these through, we will find the piece that fell. There it is. Okay. Gonna slide that through. Trim all these apart, and then put the other side on, as well as we are going to trim away the dog ears after we have pressed them all. So let's add one more, and piece E, which is the one square, is also going to be built around like this, so we're going to bring that up in a minute after we finish these and build that guy out by itself. because it's just lonely over there not being chain pieced into this pile here. So 2 more. Throw that on. And 1 more piece. So before I go and press all this, I'm going to pull piece E up here with C parts, and I'm going to sew that with this wonderful pile here. Before I press anything, I'll just put all 4 sides on it, so we're just going to throw that there. Grab this. This is piece E with some C's. This is the center unit you guys saw. We're going to build around this real quick. Just going to line it up. Build around this guy before pressing. Turn it around. Put this side on. Don't mind the sound. I do have the window open today for some air in here. And I'm just going to finger press this right here where I sit so that I can drop it on the iron real quick, which you guys cannot see at this very second. Just a quick little press. We're going to trim away these dog ears. And like I said, like my mom would say, circumcising these little points off. It's so funny. Thought I'd take that to a more sillier note, I guess. Alright, center this little guy up. We're going to sew this on. Turn it around, add that last and final piece that's marked C. I'm going to put that center on there. We're going to sew it on. And now we're going to take this and the rest of all of these pieces over to the iron. So now, here was piece E with the C parts. I'm going to just slide one like so, slide the other one back. Again, I'm just pressing back towards my white, no big deal, not on this end anyways. And now I'm going to grab my D pieces with the C pieces, and we're going to push those back like so. I'm just going to press those. Takes just a second. Warm it up. Press it back. And that side should already be warm, so I just need to press it back. And then we'll just keep going. 1 more after this. Turn it around. Hold it back. And last piece. And then we are going to clean up those dog ears on those. So all we have to do now is chop off the dog ears on all these pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and do that off screen. Okay, so I've laid them all here. These are the pieces that are finished. And I'm now going to take pieces B and A and make all these half square triangle units from pieces B and A. So we're going to bring these up now and chain piece these through. Again, we're making sawtooth patchwork. That's what it's called. So piece B and piece A. We're going to put these right sides together, and I took you to a different angle now so you can see how dusty my machine really is. We're going to put these through. 1/4 inch seam, unless otherwise stated. 1/4 inch seam. Hold those. Run them through. Let's take 2 more. Piece A and piece B. Right sides together. Line them up. They should be exact. We're going to piece those through. 1/4 inch seam. Try not to stretch or tug or pull because, as you can see, this is the bias. Okay, line these two. I'm going to slide those through. 1/4 inch seam. And last one. After this, we're going to press it, and then we are going to put the block together. So there we have that. They are all, snip them apart. And before I press, I'm actually going to sit here and I'm going to finger press them open, so that way I have no stretching. I'm holding this end up here, and then I'm doing this. And don't mind my hands, I am totally not a hand model today, guys. They are really cracked bad. Alright, so I'm just going to hold this end up here, and I'm just going to use my fingernail, and just slide it down the block just ever so slightly, because first I want these open before I press, because they are small and they press easier. So when they're already, and these are going to the dark side if you haven't noticed. So now I'm going to take them over and press them. So I've already finger pressed, so now I'm just going to take and hold the iron over the piece like so, just to set them down. I didn't roll them back because I didn't want them to stretch. And one more. And now we are going to trim the dog ears off of all of these. I will be right back. So now that they are all trimmed and placed down where they go, they face in. So B faces in, A faces out. Then each of the D pieces are on the outer sides, which there be no other place for them because E is in the middle, and all the C's are what creates around those. So A and B come together like so, and this is what we're going to create. So now we're going to turn this into a 9 patch. So I'm going to take this side, right sides together onto the furthest left, this right sides together onto the left, this one right side onto the left, and I'm going to sew from here, there, and there, leaving it on the machine, and then I'm going to finger press them open, and then I'm going to grab this in order, here, here, and here, adding those on. So let's get to sewing. Okay, so my first one, I'm going to line this up, right sides together, we're going to sew nicely on here. I'm going to grab that next piece, we're going to hook these on. These ones are kind of off a little, like more than a little, but we're going to make it work. It fits into the 1/4 inch seam on mine. That's all that matters. They are not perfect ever, more than ever. And down. So that now I'm going to come to the top. We're going to go out to the left, and we'll press this one to the right because there's no other way about it. And then this one will go out to the left where there's less bulk. So I'm just finger pressing them for now. I'm going to leave it right here. We're going to add the next piece from the top right, which is all that's left over there anyway. We're going to put that on there. Right sides together. Line it nicely. I'm going to grab that next piece, right sides together, sew this on, and last piece, right sides together, and sew this on. Now I'm going to finger press this one out to the right. Essentially, this top row, they're pressed out. This next row is pressed in, and the last row will be pressed out, like so. So now, these are all here, like this. They're connected together, can't lose them. Make sure one more time they are the way they need to be. I'm going to take and put this bottom one over first, and we're going to start right here. Flip it. I'm going to nest these seams right here. Okay, nest those seams. Sorry the video is in an awkward angle right this very second. So I'm going to hold that nested seam because it really has nowhere to go. You can unsnip it if you wanted. and put a pin in it if you wanted, but I don't think there's any need to, honestly. 1/4 inch seam. That next seam, I'm needle down in it so that it could stay. So right through there and off the edge. Now I'm just going to take and kind of just finger smush this open for now, just like this, and just finger pressing it out that way. Turn it around and put this last piece on top, like so. I'm going to nest this seam again right here. Let's get this to focus. Here we go. Nesting those two seams, sorry. I'm going to hold that on there, keeping it down in that seam while I get the next one situated. Holding this all together, 1/4 inch seam, situate my end. And here we have a block. I'm just going to push these down for a second, like so, with my fingers out of the way, and we're going to take it over and press it. Here is the final press. So I'm just going to press this block like so. And I forgot to tell you guys in the beginning that this is a 9-inch finished block. So right now it is at 9.5 inches. This is Birthday Block Ideas. These are the ones that I like. So it's nicely pressed. It's a little wonky, but there's nothing that a little trimming and straightening can't do. So it's nice and flat. And add a little steam. Just running it on here. I'm not really kind of going with the grain. So like this, towards the outer side of the block. And there we go. So I did lose this point quite a bit right here. If you can't see, I did lose that point, but I don't care. These points are really good. This is what you want to see. You kind of still want to see a little bit of white on them. So right here I went probably a little too far, and the 1/4 inch seam looks good. It's just the way the piece went together, so you know, that's okay. I don't mind. So there we have it. Now I have decided to make the Shoofly block. So color A is light. We're using white. Color B is a medium. I'm going to call red my medium. Color C is light, again with the light, which is my white. And color D is my dark. I'm going to use a purple. So from A, I need 2 3 7/8 inch squares cut on the diagonal once. So here's 3 7/8 inch squares. I kind of started cutting when I realized I wanted to record. So I just need to cut these on the diagonal once for color A. So these are 3 7/8 inch squares cut on the diagonal once. So color A is just going to go right there. Color B is my medium. I'm going to skip the red real quick and jump to my light. C, I need 4 3.5 inch squares. So here I have a 3.5 inch strip. Just going to straighten it up right here on the end. And we're going to cut 4 3.5 inch squares. So here's 2 going to come off first. And we'll cut 2 more 3.5 inch squares from color C, which is my light. So I have 4 3.5 inch squares from C. Now I'm going to work with B and D. So B is red. I've chose it to be red. I need 2 3 7/8 inch squares cut on the diagonal once. So let's get to a spot where I can get some 3 7/8 inch squares right here. 7/8 is the one right before the 4. So 3 7/8. I'm not going to get 2 from right there, so let's come down to this side right here, and I'm covering the directions momentarily while I cut over 3 7/8.
right here. Line it up, 3 7/8 about right there. Now cut down. Okay, I'm going to throw that out of the way. And we should get 2 3 7/8 inch squares out of this. I'm going to straighten up this edge right here. And we're going to go 3 7/8, like so, 3 7/8 all the way around. Looks like I need to trim this side a little. 7/8. Really just needed to trim. So there's 1. Here would be number 2, 3 7/8. And that one looked good. So now we're going to take and stack these two, and they get cut on a diagonal 1 time. So this is piece B, which is my medium. I chose red for that. So we're going to cut them on the diagonal 1 time. So there's piece B. And now piece D, I need 1 3.5 inch square. So we're just going to go ahead and cut 1 3.5 inch square off of my purple. I'm going to kind of make it just a little bigger right here, only because it's not straight on both ends. So I'm just going to cut to the edge, cut that out, throw this out of the way. I'm pretty sure you saw down here, sort of. All right. Now that that's straight, let's go to 3.5. Line that up on 3.5, just like so, and trim it all the way. Okay, so piece A, 2 pieces, 3 7/8, cut on the diagonal once. B, a medium, we have 2 3 7/8 cut on the diagonal once. C is my light again, same as A. I need 4 3.5 inch squares, and D is my dark, 1 3.5 inch. So now let's assemble. Okay, my D is going to be in the center. All of my C pieces are the white. They're going to go around it, top, bottom, side to side. My corners will be made up of my piece A and my piece B, which we're going to take those to sew first before we lay them down. So let's go make some piece A, piece B half square triangles. Alright, so let's just do some half square triangles with piece A and piece B. So we're just going to line these up and sew a 1/4 inch seam and chain piece all of them through. Again, one, right sides together, piece A and piece B, 3 7/8 inch pieces cut on the diagonal 1 time. There was 2 of each. I'm going to make 4 pieces. So I'll be able to make 4 half square triangles. Right sides together. Line them up. I kind of just slide them under and then adjust the rest sometimes. 1/4 inch seam. My guide keeps me from messing up. At least it should. Sometimes it doesn't. It's not supposed to allow you to slide the fabric over. Alright, there we have it. So now I'm just going to snip these apart, and before I press them, I will finger press them open, like so, to the dark. Just going to hold the piece so that I'm not stretching the bias. I just want them open before I go to the iron, because these are a little bit smaller than my normal half square triangles. So without stretching, we will just open them all up. I just hold the block down quite well and just run my finger or nail across the whole entire thing, pressing them to the dark, just like so. And I'm gonna go press these, and I'll be right back. So before I do anything, we are going to trim off the dog ears on every single one of these pieces. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I decided to put the directions back down in case anybody was curious again. D is a dark color, by the way. I know it's not in the screen. There it is. It's a dark.
You don't have to, you can make it the same color if you want, but I just chose for this one to be a dark. This makes a 9-inch block. Right now it'll finish at 9.5. So, but once it goes into a quilt, it would be 9. So we're going to slide this to right here. And these are now going to go with my medium color, which is the red, facing in, creating a 9 patch. So we're just going to slide these in like so, just like that. And now, like any other 9 patch, by the way, this is the Shoofly block. It's very, very old. Everybody knows what it is. So, like any 9 patch, I'm going to take this one, put it over to the left, this one over to the left, and this one over to the left. And I will sew down this whole right side right here. So sewing on the right side now, and then finger press them open, adding this next side. So let me put the camera where it needs to be, and we'll get to sewing. Again, we're going to do this different angle, so we're going to slide right sides together. We're going to run these through, grab from the top. I'm going to make sure they're nice and aligned. Grab that next one, make sure that they're nice and lined. Slide them through. And the last one from the pile, I hope you probably kind of saw that. Oops. It's kind of hard to do this with blocking the camera with one hand. Snip this. I'm going to lift this up, bring them close. They're all connected. Can't lose my order. We're going to press them left or right, and then we'll go to the left. We're just pressing towards the white. I know it's not my norm, but we're just going to press towards the white, opposite. So now they're right here. See this one way up here? We're going to grab that and bring this right sides together on here first. Just sew this one on. We're going to grab that next one, which is the solid, my light color, the white. And then the last and final piece will go on right here. Slide it in, sew it down. Now, before I do anything, we're just going to finger press in, down here. This one will go finger press out, like that. And this one will go in as well. So the way it wants to lay because of the seams. Now we're going to take this bottom one, right sides together, flip it. We're going to nest the seam and see it lays really, really flat. So they nest really nicely. Just going to nest that. We're going to hold this down right here and start sewing. I'm going to stop at that seam. And now this next one you can see down at the bottom of the screen. I'm nesting that. I'm just going to hold it with my finger, nice and flat. Stop at it, press the rest of the block, and sew on down. And now I'm just going to kind of push it out of the way, grabbing this last one. They're still connected, see? Right sides together. We're going to put these two ends right here first, up at the machine. Take a stitch, nest these two down here, just hold it with the finger. Stop at it. Go to the next one. They lay really, really nicely. These ones will probably be way better than my last block. And cut it, and open it up, and we're going to take it over to press it. So now we're pressing real quick. I'm going to, because of the seam bulks, just going to use my finger to press this in towards the middle. And then I'm going to turn the block. And again, I'm just going to use my finger to press that middle seam in towards the middle. That way it lays nice and flat. Just going to lay the iron on it, come over to this side, lay it on there, and then press the whole block. Turn it, press it, turn it again, press it some more, one more time, just like that. Maybe add some steam. And we'll take it and there we have it. This is the Shoofly block. the light color A, which are these ones, 2 3 7/8 inch block, squares cut in a diagonal once, creating the half square triangle. Then I used my medium as my red, 2 3 7/8 inch blocks cut on a diagonal once, we creating half square triangles. And then color C is my light again, 4 3.5 inch squares. And then D, I just used one. My dark was my purple, 3.5 inch. So these 4 right here are 3.5 inch, C and D, and then the half square triangles were cut out of 3 7/8. So there we have it, the Shoofly block. There it is, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.